Jeff Stack, I'm with an organization with the Mid-Missouri Fellowship of Reconciliation, First Ward. I have to say I haven't had as much time to research this matter as I'd like to. I do appreciate that I did catch wind of it from some folks. We're very much opposed to the funding for FUSUS software at this point. It seems like it's really kind of a half-baked idea. There's concern, there should be concern about safety, but I kind of feel that fear is driving a whole lot of things. And I feel like we have spent plenty of money on the police department, way too much, quite frankly, $20 million a year. That's plenty for me. I want to applaud the city council or city manager for passing the measure and purchasing the VFW hall as a shelter for human beings in our community. I applaud that for room at the end. Those are the kind of policy decisions that I think we really need to try to increase security and safety. We take care of people, we get them off the streets, we give them a safe space to be. Address poverty and other ways I think is more appropriate. My concern is that, people talk about privacy, a thing of the past. I'm sorry, but I really want it to continue to be a thing in our reality. I think about my kids and young people being able to wander our streets and visit, just be able to have conversations. I don't really want to think in terms of living in a police state. And that I think, you guys are being driven by a desire to keep people safe. I think at heart you really are. But I think that we're going overboard with this, at least from what I understand. Other folks have spoken of there really not being a very firm policy developed. It seems like it is, just we should trust that this will take care of us, it'll make us safe. I don't want crime to take place in our community. I want us to try to do what we can to minimize violence. I don't think this is particularly a best way to move forward. We came, some friends and I just came back from a program today talking about Palestinian people, what they're dealing with, a security state. That's what they're dealing with Israeli occupation of their territories. We know about communist China. We know about all kinds of other places. Do we want to get onto a slope where we try to increase this kind of scrutiny and this kind of surveillance? I don't really want to. Privacy, security, we need to have a careful balance, but I think this is going too far. Folks have talked about the CCOPS ordinance, and that may be something that maybe makes sense to think about moving forward. Let's not rush down this road, though. I think we're not benefiting our society by doing so.
Thank you, Jeff. Next.
I need to use this. Does this go up there?
Yes, so there should be, and I think in starting the first of the year, they're not going to let USBs in the website to load it up, but it should work. Oh, yeah, no, that should work. Sorry, I thought you were talking about something. Are you representing an organization? Tyree, that's kind of a stretch.
I remember Bob McDavid taking a recess for 5 minutes, and then I spoke for 6 about the same time, same topic. So, but if it's only 3, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna start coming every day, every meeting. I'm coming.
Okay.
How do you open
I
it up?
think you can just do guest mode.
Yes?
Yeah.
Right here?
Nope, bottom, the little blue one. Yep. Yes.
How do you spell FUSUS? F-U-S?
Yep.
Is that right?
Correct.
So I had to ask Scott, how you spell it? So I didn't even know how to spell it. So that lets you know that I didn't know much about it. My name is Tyree Bynum. I don't get my address because I got death threats. But what I want to share is I had a couple of conversations with CPD and Jeff, and we actually met for lunch. And this is the meeting. So we met for lunch. You guys, it's Black Hand Side, BLKHANDSIDE/FUSUS. You can pull it up and read exactly what I'm sharing right now and have a copy of it. So we had a meeting and sat down. I met with Jeremiah afterwards. Those are the dates and times we sat down. The Sharp End was a black community. The cops did not come in the Sharp End. They had to ask to come in with a liaison that brought them in and explained the issue, which is why they located where they are, right on the edge of the sharp end. So it's a conversation, but I talked to the chief. If you guys click on this, this is a FUSUS Como map disruptor, because I've already presented, even to you, Mr. Mayor, I presented to you this information about citizen engagement. I sent it to all of you guys. And you said no. I sent it to DeCarlin a couple times. You ain't even respond to me. So our 10th meeting today and 5th strategy session about community policing, during the time we met, we said if we not have trust, you won't get no cops, ever. Unless they 45, you can get 45 community policing officers. That's it. We ain't never gonna change that idea. The first time we met personally post-pandemic, our meeting was over lunch. We both shared culture, history, understanding of certain topics. We discussed the challenges. And then we discussed the goal. Sought help Mizzou to do the additional research, recommended more additional research. It's actually not 4 times, it's 900% more that they pull over brothers than those of European descent. I asked Jeff, why didn't he ask me? And I introduced blackdemographics.com. I'm one of the only black-owned data and intelligence agencies in the nation, the only, and I live right here. You guys haven't asked me for my help one time, and you know who I am and what I do. So here's the biggest challenges: diversity in hiring, proven data and solutions, effective research that is action-oriented and sustainable, finding trust community partners who are willing to do the work, true institutional collaboration, budget increase, additional officers, officer qualification exceptional, community inclusion, shared social spaces, 18 to 24-year-olds killing each other, right? Gang violence, real or fictional, gun violence, predators and corruption, kingpins. Change culture takes time. Political climate, protest and counter-protest, police brutality, suicide or prosecutor with those. Here's a list of solutions. I shared this. I shared all the data. I did a report with Jim Witt before the last report that he did for the city. He didn't even get a chance to see it when it was done. I had to show it to him and share it to him since Reddy did not. He had a list of everything you do to change the systemic issues in this community.
Thank you, Tyree.
So you didn't give me the extra minutes?
Oh, did you? Okay. I thought you said I will do it for 3. You need to add a minute and a half then. We've gone 30.
So I did the mayor's task force in community violence. I did that pro bono for McDavid and you guys. I've shared with you at least 10 times when none of you knew about the sharp end. I took the time to educate and share that information. I was there when Wine Faye and Almeida, back in 1980, did a whole meeting in the community to educate you guys. In 1996, they did it again. Al Plummer was one of the people who was doing that with Oxen Handler on race relations. All of those recommendations, you did none of them. Even with the recommendations last time, I documented everything. You did none of them, except for one, ban the box, and that's it. And it still hasn't been done. I reached out to the DEI, and I asked Tony some questions. He answered my questions, and so it's right here. So that was one of the recommendations that I gave. But here's the last thing. Galactica died after a whimper after 3 days of intense criticism. Meta trains Galactica on 48 million examples of scientific articles, and after it started tripping, they shut it down after 3 days. You don't know about AI.
All right. Thank you, Tyree. Next public comment.
Can you hear me okay? My name is Ryan Carter. I live in the 3rd Ward. I am representing myself. I am opposed to FUSUS. I found out about this today. I read Anthony's document hours before coming here. This is incredibly scary. This is the first step of creating a police state, and I do not say that lightly. That is an incredibly scary thing for a lot of people. So scary for me that I felt I had to come out and speak on this the first time I'm ever coming to one of these meetings. I work for Columbia Public Schools, and I resent that our nation's incredibly lenient gun laws have necessitated a situation where we have to live in a police state to save a few precious seconds to keep our children safe. If we want to keep people, especially children, safe, it is my opinion that stricter gun laws would be the answer to that particular problem. I think that every single person that has come up here in opposition of FUSUS has raised incredibly good points. I understand our business owners' standpoints on this making their lives much easier, but the really important thing to keep in mind here is that CPD cannot create a decent policy about how to use this technology without first implementing it. That, to me, is a non-starter. This is not an attack on the CPD. It is a criticism. Speaking as a former first responder, I have a pretty good understanding how difficult and dangerous your job is. Police officers ensured my safety many, many times so I could provide the best care possible to my patients. But your organization is flawed, and this measure is flawed, and I do not think approving technology that creates the framework for a police state under the guise of public safety just so you can test it out, however good intention that idea may be, is the answer. I think that there are a lot of aspects to this that I do not think have been fully considered. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Renee Carter. I'm from the 2nd Ward, and I'm here to represent Race Matters Friends.
Are you requesting 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Okay. So I'll be reading this. Sorry, I didn't have time to memorize it, but Race Matters Friends is against structural racism and the tools that further the project of white supremacy. One of these tools is the advancement of surveillance technology. Surveillance technology employing cameras, systemic analysis of that visual data, and generally opening to the policing force an avenue for constantly watching the people of Columbia, offers too many opportunities to further systemic racism. We know from recent publications by the Missouri Attorney General of vehicle stops in Missouri that stops happen disproportionately for people of color, particularly black people. We know that black people are likely to be arrested than white counterparts per an analysis of FBI data. Over-policing is already happening in our communities of color and already causes death and harm to those same communities. Enabling the police to purchase this software only increases their ability to over-police and justify the over-policing. Furthermore, this technology is a violation of privacy to all the people who live in Columbia, and the Mid-Missouri Civil Liberties Association would disagree with some of the comments made by other people and lawyers in that they are concerned that the surveillance software will infringe upon the rights of our citizens. They also noted that there is no independent assessment for the system. We do not have confirmation that this system actually reduces crime or significantly assists with capturing people who have committed crimes. Further, there is not currently an active Citizens Police Review Board in Columbia, meaning that once the police department is able to access the software, there is no clear recourse for oversight. This is too much power to give our police department. The privacy of our individual citizens is a right that has to be protected. When we hand tools to the police that undermine that privacy, we undermine our own rights. City Council is responsible for speaking to the expectations of their constituents. Have you asked your constituents if they are ready for their privacy to be at liberty to be violated? Are you prepared to know what if something happens to your constituents because the police have been able to violate their privacy at their deeming of criminal activity, whatever that may mean? It was on your hands for supporting the placement of this technology. Who will be able to access this information if the police become able to record it? Race Matters Friends does not support the implementation of this software, and we hope that City Council does not either.
Next public comment.
Hi, my name is Chris Jones. I'm in Ward 2. So many other speakers tonight have made so many good points. I'm not going to reiterate them, but I am going to bring up a different aspect to this. Last Friday at noon, I attended where Chief Jones spoke at the Mule Skinners virtual programming. There, the chief said that apartment complexes the yards, the parking lots, et cetera, would be considered businesses, not residents, in his version of the policy on FUSUS. What this means, for those who are unaware, is this means it would be a live feed, not that the police department would text the owners of the businesses or owners of the residences. They would be able to go into the live feed and watch it that way. Apartment complexes have a disproportionate amount of marginalized and vulnerable people who live there. So this would disproportionately negatively affect them if FUSUS was to be considered. The chief also said that people don't have the expectation of privacy in public. I would say that an apartment complex, as somebody who does live in an apartment complex, I should have the right to go out to my car without being videoed. The people who live in houses have the right to go out to their car in their driveway without being videoed and without police being able to tape it. I should have that same right. However, the police also he said the police also have a right, or the public also have a right to expectation of privacy from the police spying on them without a court order. As has been highlighted by the police, by the vehicle disparity stop ratings, our local police department has a problem of targeting non-white members of our community. This program will only allow them to target individuals and groups more. Policies and procedures will keep, or we've had multiple people say that policies and procedures will keep FUSUS from, or keep the police department accountable. However, the police chief has stated in this room that he allows his police officers to turn off their cameras. He said that in this room on tape. And lastly, Mayor, I would like to point out that twice before public comment, you very rudely interrupted a council member, Councilmember Fowler, when she was trying to bring up stuff that was needed to be asked by members of the community.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm going to request, oh, hello. I'm going to request 5 minutes on the behalf of Homes of Harrison LLC, if
Okay.
possible.
Okay.
Pat Fowler, hello.
Hello.
Andrea Weiner, hello. Roy Lovelady, hello. Barbara Buffalo, hello. Nick Foster, hello. Matt Pfizer,
Pitzer.
sorry, hello. And Bessie Peters, hello. I want to speak from experience.
Andrew, will you please say your name for the
Oh,
record?
I'm Keandre Harrison. Sorry. I want to speak from experience. I've been pulled over in Columbia 6 times. I've heard people mention how African American males, African Americans in general, disproportionately get pulled over more than their white counterparts. And so I want to bring to your attention that I have been pulled over 6 times in this community, and I've never been given a speeding ticket. I've never been given a ticket in general. That should be concerning. It really should. My father has done 25 years in prison. I won't even go into that for a crime that he believes that he did not commit. My brother, Bobby Harrison, he is currently fighting a misdemeanor right now due to the City of Columbia Police Department. So I'm someone speaking from experience. I don't come to you with numbers. These are direct family members. My dad's name is Bobby Harrison. I'm Keandre Harrison. My brother is Bobby Harrison Jr. And so I really think that we need to rethink this. And I think that there could be a better way a better solution that we can come up with. I would recommend that you all take all feedback from the public and look at your options and reevaluate it and assess it and really think, is this the best way that we can go about helping the crimes within the city of Columbia? I love the city of Columbia, which I do, but I'm not sure if this is the right way to go about it. It is very concerning, especially for the Black and brown community. And I hope that you really understand that. Many people have brought that up tonight. Please pay attention to that. And something else that I want to bring to your attention is we need to have something in place to hold the City of Columbia Police Department specifically accountable. We need something to hold them accountable. With the 2 minutes that I have left, I have a few things. So Mr. Roy Lovelady brought up in his line of questioning, what level is the City of Columbia committing to? I would like to hear that be answered because I felt like he was going through a line of questioning and he was somewhat interrupted and we never got a chance to really hear that answer. I also want to know the pros and cons of this being proactive, or is this a reactive company? I want to know, I want to hear from the companies who have used this particular system. I want to know from them how many crimes has this system prevented. I want to know those numbers. So I think that we definitely, there's some research, more research that needs to be done. And again, start reaching out to those other companies. Start reaching out to Atlanta if you haven't already. I love what Roy Lovelady has said, is that he reached out to them. He's met with them. I'm not sure if you all have, but he has. And he's brought that information back to the public, in which I really, really appreciate. We need more of that. And again, I want to know the numbers behind how has this system helped other companies and other cities, and I want to know the prevented, like how much what's the crime rate now that this system has been put in place. Thank you.
Thank you. But
Hey, y'all. Catherine Armbrust, Como Mobile Aid Collective, Ward 2 residents. I'm not going to talk a long time because we're all tired, but I do want to say that Como Mobile Aid Collective has a lot of concerns about how the FUSUS system will negatively impact the people that we work with, especially because they don't look like most of the people that have come up here to talk about this issue. And so we urge you, all the wards and everybody up here, to vote no, because it sounds like there are a lot of other options that people are suggesting that could be a compromise, but we just really don't know what's going to happen to our already marginalized population. So please vote no.
thank you. Would anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay, going to close that part.